Ladies and gentle sores, Mesozoic maniacs, and dinosaur dorks. Welcome to part 2 of Could Elephants Survive the Mesozoic? This video will be dedicated solely to the speculative evolution of the elephants we placed in the Cretaceous in our first episode. If you haven't watched that yet, click the link in the description or go to the Assessing Survival playlist on the channel. The speculative evolution section is something that I introduced in the bears episode, so it's missing from the first episode. I acknowledge that I made quite a few mistakes in that video, but whether you agree with my assessment or not, let's put on our interdimensional spectacles and speculate on how our Hell Creek elephants would adapt to be more suitable for this new environment. In the video, I said that elephants and triceratops would have fierce duels, and that they could at least fight back against the average T-Rex. A good number of you guys disagreed with me on both of those points, so let's see how elephants can adapt to better face their toughest competition and their fiercest predator. Fortoloxodon cretaceensis, the strong Cretaceous elephant, or the Maastrichtian elephant. Here, our elephants have evolved to better compete with their reptilian contemporaries. Coming in anywhere between 7,500 to 9,000 kilograms, a length of 8 meters, and a height of 3.2 meters at the shoulder, the Maastrichtian elephant has become the ultimate adversary for Triceratops. Stronger, much stockier, and lower to the ground. Fortoloxodon's thick pachyderm hide has become even thicker, resembling the skin of a Javan rhinoceros, though much thicker than the skin of a Javan rhinoceros. This is to better resist the strikes from not only Triceratops, but from predators as well. In fact, they have evolved thick pseudo-osteoderms, which are large, thick keratinized patches of skin, on their back and the base of their neck, to make it harder for at least younger T-Rex to harm them. Large adult tyrannosaurs are still a problem, but we'll get to that in a minute. Their diet remains largely the same: fruits, grasses, roots, tree bark, anything they would have already eaten. Their legs are incredibly muscular to better ground themselves when fighting with Triceratops, as well as each other. Their skulls have become bigger and thicker for this same reason. Fortoloxodons will joust/duel with other elephants as well as Triceratops, much like elk or bison today. Oftentimes when fighting for grazing rights, the champions of each herd will fight to decide who stays and who goes. And this applies both to interspecies conflicts with Triceratops, as well as intraspecies conflicts with other Fortoloxodons. Their trunks are now also much stronger and more dexterous, and this is so that they can grab the frill or horns of Triceratops, giving them the upper hand in encounters, often being able to pull Triceratops and other dinosaurs to the ground. Juveniles can often be observed bullying smaller dinosaurs by picking them up like toys and tossing them around. They also often make use of tools. They use uprooted trees and bones as clubs or back scratchers, twigs to clean their ears, and large rocks as thrown projectiles. Which brings us to their interactions with Tyrannosaurus. Though still vulnerable to predation by Tyrannosaurus, the Maastrichtian elephants are way more dangerous as prey items. Fortoloxodons, when they can, will use weapons against Tyrannosaurs. This includes clubbing them with trees or large bones, as well as pelting them with soccer ball-sized rocks. Fortoloxodon are far more aggressive than their predecessors, something that makes them very reckless and stubborn. Whereas before the size and numbers of Edmontosaurus would scare them off, they now more often charge and trumpet at these larger dinosaurs. They live in large herds of anywhere between 10 and 25 individuals, with a single dominant male, also known as the knight, who has a table of less dominant males that take the role of protecting the herd, and a single matriarch who takes on the role of guiding and leading the herd. Carloxypodum recongus, the river-running elephant, or the river elephant. Perhaps instead of directly competing with dinosaurs, our elephants take to the rivers and estuaries along the coast of the Western Interior Seaway. Quite a bit smaller than their predecessors, coming in at a maximum weight of 4,500 kilograms, and a height of 2.6 meters, the river elephant is closer in size to an Indian or Borneo elephant. River elephants live a lifestyle that is analogous to that of hippos and capybaras today. Their feet have become less elephantine and more adapted for bounding across the bottom of bodies of water. Their characteristic ears have become much smaller to reduce drag in the water, though they retain pretty excellent hearing. Their bodies are now much more rounded and streamlined, so they can move through the water like a fat, bouncing torpedo. 80% of their diet consists of seaweed, grasses, mangrove bark, and leaves. The other 20% of their diet consists of mollusks and crustaceans, making them omnivorous. The end of their now shorter trunk has become wider, almost like a shovel, which they use to scrape through the sediment to find crustaceans and mollusks. They live in pods of anywhere between 10 and 30 individuals. These pods often converge during mating or wet seasons, where they can create super herds of hundreds of river elephants. Though they have escaped predation and competition from most land-based dinosaurs, they haven't escaped danger entirely. The river elephants are still vulnerable to the occasional Tyrannosaurus, though these interactions are less common. Their biggest threat comes from crocodilians like Deinosuchus, small mosasaurs like Platycarpus, and coastal Roman Quetzalcoatlus. Platycarpus and Quetzalcoatlus tend to try and snag younger river elephants before they go for adults, but Deinosuchus are a regular problem for the river elephant. Crocodilians can vary greatly in size from individual to individual, so they can defend themselves against most Deinosuchus, but they are defenseless against the larger adult crocodiles. They are incredibly aggressive towards dinosaurs no matter their size, and will charge at anything. Baby river elephants spend most of their youth riding on their mothers' backs, as this keeps them safe from potential ambushes from below. It doesn't, however, keep them safe from attacks from above, so mother river elephants have to be very watchful of the skies. A Quetzalcoatlus could very easily snatch a young Paraloxopodon off their mother's back. Cortiditherium medesicus, the bark-eating beast, or the wood elephant. Something I neglected to elaborate on in part 1 was the elephant's favorite source of food, tree bark and roots. Elephants use their tusks to scrape bark off of trees and eat it, as well as the flesh underneath. Cortiditherium, or the wood elephant, has specialized specifically to eat tree bark and flesh, nothing else. Sort of like how a panda only eats bamboo and a koala only eats eucalyptus leaves. Coming in at an astounding 4.8 meters at the shoulder and weighing an average of 12,000 kilograms, the wood elephant is one of the heaviest animals in Hell Creek. Not quite as big as the Pleistocene's Paleoloxodon, but definitely bigger than Edmontosaurus. The wood elephant spends the vast majority of its life in highly forested areas. Almost every aspect of its body has evolved to strip trees of their bark. Their tusks have bent downward and become wider at the end, almost like a draw knife. Along with this, their back and neck muscles have also become very strong. This is so that they can knock down trees, which makes eating bark higher up on the tree much easier for them. On top of this, at the end of their trunk, the top lip has become hard and keratinized, so that they can, of course, scrape off pieces of bark out of reach. Cortiditherium also has evolved a much longer tail. This is because in the forest, there is an abundance of insects. They use their long tail to swat things like mosquitoes away from them. Wood elephants are much dumber than their predecessors. Though they keep their large skulls, their brains and brain cases have become much smaller. This is because their lifestyle has made them incredibly slow and lazy. This isn't to say they're completely stupid, though. They still take very good care of their young and have strong emotional intelligence in order to do so. When a wood elephant reaches maturity, they wander off from their mothers on their own. They live a solitary lifestyle, and are very aggressive towards other wood elephants and animals. They will fight over entire swaths of forest on a regular basis. They fight by rearing their heads back and swinging them down on each other, almost like walruses. Any predator they encounter will have their sharp tusks brought down on their face, in an OJ sort of fashion. These animals live a life that consists of nothing much more than eating bark and slowly lumbering through the forest, and can be heard mumbling. Not because it means anything, just because they enjoy mumbling. Unfortunately, none of our speculative elephants would have a chance of surviving the KT extinction. I could maybe see an argument being made for the river elephant, but I doubt it. Thank you for tuning in to part 2 of Could Elephants Survive the Mesozoic? Though there's a lot of things I would fix about it, if you haven't seen part 1 already, go ahead and click the link in the description, or go to the Assessing Survival playlist on the channel to watch it. Leave a comment, and click the like button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to consider joining the Discord, or becoming a patron of the channel. Links for both of those can also be found in the description. I'll send you guys out with some art by Chonky Kong 01, another talented member of our Discord.